what is the inner critic?
An asshole.
You clearly have not listened to the inner critic episode, my friend. That is not what the inner critic is. Hello, 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 and welcome to Well Shit. It really is that simple. I'm Claire.
And I'm Serena. On this podcast, we help you to understand about your 12 universal needs, why they are currently not being well met,
how to meet them in ways that work for you, and how to consistently do so in quick, easy, and simple ways that fit seamlessly into your life.
We'll also help you to understand how doing so will have a positive ripple effect in literally every area of your life.
If you like what you hear, sign up for more support with meeting your needs with your weekly Universal Needs notes at theuniversalneeds.com.
And enjoy the show.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, everyone.
Oh my God, it feels like forever since we did this.
It has been forever.
It's been forever. It's been a minute, yeah. End of last year was, well, you heard it in the podcast pause. It was a little challenging. We're not going to lie.
My Facebook status is, it's complicated. Just with life.
Just my life. It's not a relationship status.
Yeah,
it's just a life
status.
I think you should have that, actually. You should have a life status as part of your thing, yeah. Yeah, we've got some exciting new updates. One of which, if you're on the video, you just saw, because Serena snuck a little bit of her coffee. We have...
Look at its official merch.
We've got official merch. We've got our mugs, and each of us have got our own quotes on the back. Yeah. Let's see if Serena can do that without flinging coffee over the entire setup.
It's a coffee shower.
So we've got our tea and coffee mugs, and then we also have our little water bottles as well, our little water tumblers. So yeah, so that we can stay hydrated.
I did.
What?
Look at, they're facing different ways. Isn't that weird?
Huh.
Yeah, you got to check out the video to see what we're talking about. But, I mean, they both read
unique.
Correctly.
They're unique.
That's weird. Why is mine backwards?
Why is yours backwards?
Watch.
It's not on mine.
Well, oh. Is yours backwards on yours?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. We figured it out. We figured it out, everyone. Mystery solved.
I think it will be the right way around for for you watching.
If not, let us know, because I'm very confused. It's too early.
I don't know, actually. Anyway, we're really excited. So, and what's really funny about all of this is that we've had a few milestones, shall we say, since the last time we recorded. So
just
it was
a couple.
My birthday, it was Serena's birthday, it was Christmas. And so we actually have a piece of merchandise which isn't here right now for you to see, which I got Serena for her birthday, which is a little koozie for her iced coffee, which also has... the well shit it really is that simple logo and her little saying on the back, so I got that for her, and then for Christmas Serena got me and her the little water tumbler things, neither of us knowing the other one had, like, we'd ordered them basically around the same time, and neither of us knew that we'd done that. And then we also celebrated, Serena's been with us for 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years. Oh my God. Like, it was so funny. I was talking to my mum yesterday and I said, it feels like I can't remember a time that you weren't involved in the business. Not like it feels like forever.
It does feel like forever, though. Like,
but it doesn't feel like forever in a bad way. It feels like you've always been a part of it.
Yeah.
So as part of her 4-year celebration, we got the mugs.
We got the mugs, so we are all merched out. And we have something else, another milestone that might be. Well, I mean. We had a tutu birthday, a tutu themed birthday, because I turned 42 and she turned 42 plus 2. So
yes,
42 2 and 42 plus 2. We like a good theme, and
we like bad themes, like any kind of theme.
Yeah, really just kind of any theme. And we celebrated at one of our favorite bars. I'm going to give them a little shout out to Tutu & Co. because we have a new guest and a new member of our podcasting team.
This is Unity, the community unicorn.
Yes.
So she's well, I don't think we've decided if I think that we've got a she, a he, and a non-binary Nunu, right?
Yeah, I think that's what
so we got all of our genders clear here.
And Unity came to us because we were celebrating something else. Insert confetti. Claire got her visa.
Yay!
So that's one of the, milestone ones. Our trademark came through.
Yes.
Like,
I haven't even shared that on social media yet.
Oh.
Like, well, I mean,
heard
like,
it here first.
You literally will probably have heard it here first because and some things don't change. So a lot has changed, but some things don't. We still hit the pop shield, and the sound shield, and the table, and all the other things that are surrounding us right now. But yeah, we were celebrating my visa celebration, and our lovely friend Jillian, who's one of our bartender friends at Tutu and Co, decided to donate Unity to the podcast team.
She said, who would play with a little purple unicorn covered with glitter?
We would. And Tutu and Co are not sponsoring this. Like, they're not official sponsors anyway. We just love them and we love what they do. So yeah, we're very excited to have Unity as part of our team, along with Mr. Niggles and Nunu. Mr. Niggles is from our Clearing Niggles episode, if you're not aware of what we're talking about as far as that's concerned. So yeah, lots has been happening. But it feels really good to be recording again. I'm like, I just cannot believe how long it's been since we last did this.
There's just the year in general. There's kind of like that. It's another womp womp. Like, everything goes so quick. Everything seems a million years ago.
Absolutely. And the good thing about doing it, I mean, literally, we are recording and we'll release probably next week this episode. And the good thing about doing it at the time that it's going to go live is we can do stuff that's a little bit more relevant. I mean, we try and do that anyway. We kind of plan what we're doing and try and make sure that the episodes fit with what's going on in the world. But this one kind of came out of the blue. We actually didn't have this planned at all. I came up with this morning just because it's relevant to me and my life right now. And I suddenly went, hold on a second. It's the beginning of the new year. I got a feeling a few people may be feeling this way. And that is like, are people struggling? Like, are you struggling with the things you have to do, the things you need to do, the things you should do as part of the new year, but also just generally in life? Are you experiencing this? Because this is something that I think a lot of people struggle with. Like, it's like, oh God, I have to get up and do my workout, or, oh God, I've got to, I really should, go to the grocery store and get some nice nutritious food as opposed to all the crap that's left in the fridge and freezer from Christmas and New Year. Or like, I mean, there's so many things, or it's like, I need to, I can't even think of examples right now. My brain's
the thing is, it's kind of, it's adulting.
Yeah.
Like, adulting, it's, we often look at it as a have, need, should. And I feel like each time you say one of those, it's like have, need, should. Like, you just kind of like sink lower down with the weight of what you're,
it's like the expectations you have on yourself.
That's exactly what, thank you. I was like searching for the words.
We're still in each other's brains, don't worry. Some things don't change.
That's good, because each of us are on, that kind of.
We're still not quite 100% by any stretch.
The two of us together are a decent whole right now.
Yeah, we've got a good 100% between the two of us. And the good thing is that I'm in Serena's brain if she's not. So if she's say, oh no, I don't know what I was saying, don't worry, I've got you. But yeah, that like those, you're right, those expectations, like the second you put the language of duty or obligation onto something, there's this weight that comes with it, because it no longer feels like it's a choice. It feels like there is no choice around it. And the second that you do that, you're going to be compromising your universal needs, because we have a need that sits in the trunk of our universal needs tree, the need that relates to our personal power, our internal personal power. And choice is a fundamental part of that. Like, it's one of the biggest things that will help to meet that need. So the second you step in a place where you're not in choice anymore, that's being compromised significantly.
And something we mentioned in other episodes is choice. It's not always a choice between something great and something obviously bad. Sometimes it's a choice between two things that are not so desirable, or sometimes it's a choice between two things that are downright fucking shitty,
it's or like shitty or shittier.
Yeah, or equally shit. And it's just, but having a choice, there's this is one of the things when I first kind of came into the work, I never realized like how giving myself a choice, any choice, can be so helpful, because I obviously suffer from anxiety. We've talked about it a lot. And sometimes those choices like got to be too much. But when I was setting the parameters and it's like, okay, what are my options? Like, what are all my options? And that's kind of where the spaghetti came from. Like, all that spaghetti is choices.
Right.
Choices. It's just seeing which one we pop off the wall.
I'm gonna tweak what you're saying slightly, because I don't think that the spaghetti is choices. The spaghetti is options, and you then get to choose which noodle you want from the wall.
Yeah.
So it's like, here are all the options. Let's put them all out there.
Yes.
And then you get to choose. Now, as I said, you might, like as Serena said, it might be a crappy piece. It might be a bit that's not really cooked through. It might be a bit that's overcooked. And it's like, well, which do I want? Well, actually, of the two, I'd prefer this over that. It's like it reminds me of this thing that people used to ask, and I don't know why people asked it. I don't know whether it was a thing from school or whether it's like an icebreaker question or something, but people like ask, would you rather be too hot or too cold?
Yeah, that is a question that
that gets asked, right?
Yeah.
I don't know where, why, how, who asks these questions. But the funny thing is that anybody who knows me, like knowing me, which of those options do you think I would go for?
What would you rather be?
Too hot or too cold?
Too hot.
And the answer is actually the exact opposite.
I mean, that's what I meant. That is what I meant. I know you don't like being cold.
Yes, but no. You answered in the way you thought you did, which is that I would rather be too hot.
Yes.
No, I would actually rather be too cold than too hot. I think part of it is just I'm used to being too cold. Like, I'm cold all the time. Who was it I was talking to? Oh, I had brunch with some friends on Saturday, and we were talking about I don't know why we were talking about the weather in the UK. I mean, the UK people talk about the weather in the UK. Why shouldn't we? It was one of those things. We were talking about how cold it is and how I'm not really good with the cold. And or I think we might have been talking about the fact it's been cold here. That's what we were talking about. And I was like, I'm not really good with the cold. And my friend was like, but you're from England. I was like, there's a reason I live here now. I'm not built for the cold. But I think that's the good thing with cold is you can feel like you're doing something about, like, and add layers and feel like you're doing something about it. Too hot, like you reach a point where there ain't nothing to take off.
Yeah.
And it's like the fans aren't doing, like, and I feel more uncomfortable, I think, when I'm too hot than when I'm too cold. Again, maybe because I just don't have an experience of being too hot very often because I'm always cold. But it's funny, people would assume, but that's a great example. Which would you rather be, too hot or too cold?
It depends. Like, I hate being hot. Like, I'm a sweaty girl. Like, I don't like being hot. We live in the tropics.
Yeah, sweaty girls here.
Yeah. I don't like being hot, but I've also been, like, bitterly cold. Like, I've camped in the desert at night, and that's a cold I have not experienced before, even layered
up. It's like your bones cold.
Yeah, and then it took hours to kind of, like, it's like you're checking for the hypothermia, and it, those kind of borderline situations. We're on an adventure. We survived.
Yeah. We didn't die. That's where the but did you die shirt came from. Serena has this shirt that says, but did you die on it? And she always wears it on October 12th to celebrate my Still Being Alive Day, because it's the day I didn't die. Little segue there in the middle of the conversation. So anyway, but I think that...
I'd say hot.
Yeah.
I'd rather...
You'd rather be too hot?
I'd rather be too cold.
Oh, you'd rather be too cold? I'd rather be too hot. So we're both...
Because it's the same thing. Like, I mean, and it's been like that here. Like, you're just... Like, you're in next to nothing or nothing, just in front of, like, an AC or a fan. And there is a lot of privilege in being able to even do that.
Right.
And still just being like...
There's nothing I can do.
Like, I'm dripping. Like, this is gross.
But I think that's a really silly but good example of you can... of a choice that's not a You're choosing between two crappy options, but you still would make a choice in that situation.
And we're talking about the normal extremes of, like, in an Arctic blast. Would I rather be in, like, the tropical weather? Probably. Like, I'll take a little bit of pit stains for...
Do I want to be hanging out on the inside of a volcano? I do want to be hanging out on an iceberg. Like, it's...
Most of those sound like pretty cool little adventures, but
yeah,
by choice. If I choose to go into the volcano, I expect to be hot.
Yeah, I don't want to go into the volcano. I'm quite happy seeing that from a distance. Oh, Nunu's come to join the party. It's so funny because we've been. It's post kind of. It's post Fantasy Fest. It's post Christmas. It's post New Year's. So I've done a pretty good job of de-glittering this place. I mean, you're never going to be glitter-free on the island of Key West, especially with people like us around. But literally, I got these little friends out, and this is now covered in glitter again. It looks kind of...
You can see the...
I don't know whether you can... Yeah, probably not. I don't know whether the light will pick it up. But anyway, it looks kind of pretty. But I'm like, oh, and it's back. So anyway... all of that little kind of tangent to one side. Why on earth did I start thinking about this today? And the reason is that I decided at the beginning of this year that I really wanted. I'm not normally a New Year's resolution kind of person. And if you go back and listen, like if you're on a point where like, oh, I'm not feeling that right now, go back and listen to our New Year's episode from last year, because I think it probably will resonate with where you're at. And I'm very much I'm only going to do something if it resonates with me and if it feels right for where I'm at right now. So that's and a lot of the time, most New Year's, I ease gently into the new year and I don't think about anything I really want to change. I just focus on taking care of myself. And I suppose I'm really doing the same thing right now. I've been really sick for the last few months, and you've probably heard I'm still coughing a little bit. And so I haven't been able to move my body as much. And I normally practice yoga every morning, but even that, just doing a gentle yoga practice was too much. I would be wiped out for the rest of the day. And I'm not 100% well, but I'm also not as sick as I was. I'm kind of definitely on the healing end of the trajectory. And so I made a decision that I really wanted to, like, I was thinking about what do I want to create this year? What do I want, the things that I want to do this year? And I would really like to get back into aerial. I used to do aerial hoop on the regular. And I loved it. It was super fun. And that's something I want to do again. But having done virtually no exercise for best part of 3 months, my body is not hoop ready. Let's put it that way. Especially because you need a lot of strength in your arms in order to be able to get into the hoop, for example. Otherwise, you end up sort of hanging off the bottom. Like,
I see myself kind of trying to belly flop over it.
Well, and like you have to try and like get your, like you've got to be able to have enough muscle strength to be able to hook your leg over and pull yourself up into it. So it requires a certain amount of strength. It doesn't need you to be bulky, but it does need you to have a certain amount of strength. And I was like, actually, I really would like to start doing that again. And the only way I can do that is if I start to build some strength in my body and some flexibility in my body more than I've had. So I decided to start a new program to help me with doing that. And this is a workout program. It's kind of dance related because that's something that resonates with me. But it got me thinking about how I think about exercise. And I have had a lifelong, I'm not going to say love-hate relationship. I've had a lifelong hate-hate relationship with exercise. Like I love doing things that are exercise that it's like things that are accidentally vegan. It's like things that are accidentally exercise. I love dancing. Like it's accidentally exercise. The fact that I'm exercising while I'm doing it is kind of neither here nor there. I love to dance. I love to practice yoga. The fact that there is an exercise, that there is a body movement benefit to that is that accidental benefit kind of thing. So I love doing those kind of things. Anything that feels like I'm exercising or working out, nah, I'm not a fan. I've never been a gym bunny. I've gone to the gym in the past and I've pretty much hated it the entire time I've been there. Anything where I feel like I'm working out, to work out, everything in my system's like, nope, I don't want to do this. This is not fun. It's boring. It's hard. It's painful. Like that. Those are all the associations that I've created in my mind, and it's a lifelong conditioning around exercise. Mm-hmm. A lot of us have a similar kind of association with exercise, right?
Yeah, I dread it, and then I get into it, and then I get hyper into it. Yeah. Like I'm like we're going to the gym all the time. And then I realize that I've overdone it. And then I do nothing. And then eventually I'm like, let me get back into the gym. And so I'm definitely more a secret or sneaky exercise type of person. I rather
like accidental exercise.
Yeah, I rather do something fun, like, because I get an intensity about it. And, you know.
Well, and I think that the same thing happens around learning. I think that a lot of the conditioning that we've had around learning and school is that it's boring and it's tough and we don't like it. So like when we think we're doing something to learn something, there's this like resistance to it because internally we've associated these things with needs being unmet. Like if you think about your emotional experience expression need, that's not being well met if you're doing something that's boring, painful, and not fun. If you're thinking about, I mean, there's a whole bunch of, I could go down a rabbit hole, but I'm not going to because there's a lot of
come back, Alice.
Nuance. Nunu's doing their thing. Sorry, so I think that there's this association with exercise in the same ways as an association with learning. It's the same way there's an association with lots of things, which is that we have to do it, we need to do it, we should do it. And that's what I've created in my head. Like I know that in order for my body to be well, that part of our foundation function need, one of the first need, the first need of the universal needs tree and the taproot of the tree is movement. It is exercise. Like the body needs to move. Ooh. Hello, pop screen. The body needs to move in order to be well, in order for that foundation, in order for us to function, we have to be able to move our bodies. So it meets our needs to do that. But because I think that we've already, like, there are certain needs that we're aware of as we go through life. A lot of our universal needs we're not aware of. We've never been taught about these. But certain things we know. Like, we know we need to eat nutritious food. That's another one where it's like a lot of people have this association around quote unquote healthy food or nutritious food, that it's not tasty, that it's not fun, that it's not enjoyable, and it's boring. Or that it's not satisfying. And the truth of the matter is that that's not necessarily true at all. But because we've created that association, we know we need food. Like we know we need food. But when we start to create that, I have to eat nutritious food. I need to eat nutritious food. I should eat nutritious food. All of a sudden, it changes how we feel about it. Like we know we need to exercise in order for us to create well-being in our bodies. And obviously that's like to whatever extent is relating to our normal. So we might like, it may be that if we've got some kind of chronic illness and we're not able to exercise the way that other people do, or maybe that we would want to, we may need to stretch in order to create some sort of movement in our bodies. That is in alignment with the rest of our needs. So there's a whole bunch of things where we have this kind of have to, need to, should mentality around.
Do you think that's kind of an inner critic like talk? Like as you're saying, like the more you keep saying have to, need to, should, I'm like, I feel like that's what the inner critic would tell me. Like you have to do this. Like if you don't do this.
Well, and go back to our inner critic episode. What is the inner critic?
An asshole.
You clearly have not listened to the inner critic episode, my friend. That is not what the inner critic is. The inner critic is a part of us that is afraid that our needs won't be met, and they're using a shitty strategy to try to motivate us to get our needs met. Is exactly what the inner critic is. Now, it's not necessarily the inner critic that's speaking to us. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's just the association we have it, and that's us talking to ourselves saying, I should do this, I have to do this, I need to do this. But as we know, that compromises our needs. And so it's something that I've been very mindful of. I worked with a personal trainer probably about 18 months ago to 2 years ago. Like we worked together for about 6 months. Amazing. Shout out to Kelly if you're listening. We love you. We miss you. We're going to come visit soon. Anyway, that aside, one of the things that I found was that that when I was doing exercises with her, and there was a certain number of reps of something that I was doing, and that was actually a really interesting example where I was working out, but it was fun because we would literally laugh the entire time that we were working. That I was working, so it was still fun. Like I didn't feel the same way. But when it came to the actual exercise, I still had that association. And she would say to me, "You've only got 7 more to do. You've only got 4 more, or just 4 more to do." And I know why she was saying that, because so many of us have this association with exercise that it's like, this is painful, it's not fun, it's boring. So it's like, oh, I've only got this number before I'm done. I've only got this before I'm done. But there was something about it that just didn't feel great. And I went and I sat with it and I started to think about it. I like put a needs lens on it. What does this mean, like from a needs point of view? And one of the things that affects the meeting of our needs is what's our motivation? Do we feel like we've got choice? Do we feel like we don't have choice? Do we feel like we have to? Do we feel like we want to? And I said to her, I remember sitting down with her one day. I was like, can I ask you a favor? And she said, yeah, sure. I said to her, when you tell me about how many reps I have left, can you say you get to do 7 more, or you get to do 3 more, or you get to do 2 more? And she and it's funny because she's very similar mindset to us. And she sort of looked at me for a second. She's like, yeah, I like that. Like, yeah, absolutely. And the reason is, I want the benefit of doing this exercise. I'm doing this because I'm choosing to. I'm doing this because I want to do it, because it meets my needs to do it. And actually, by saying I get to do 2 more, I get the benefit of another 2 of these before I move on to the next one. So, and every single one of these is supporting me and supporting my well-being and supporting my needs in some way, whether it's strength, whether it's flexibility, whether it's allowing my body to rest in between, whatever it is. I'm getting that benefit. And the second if you think about someone saying to you, you've only got 2 more to do, or you've just got 2 more to do, or you've got 2 more that you have to do, or you have to do 2 more, you need to do 2 more, you should do 2 more. And then we say you get to do 2 more. Like, think about how, just check in with how that feels. For me personally, that is an entirely different experience.
Changes the energy around the entire thing.
Completely. And it's so funny, and it really worked when I was working with her. And because I started this new workout program at the beginning of this year, I've got this. Now, one thing I will say is that first and foremost, you got to listen to your needs, which means you have to listen to your body, which means you have to do whatever you're doing in alignment with yourself in a way that feels good. There were times in that, I'm going to be honest, this first week of doing this new program, I'm like, this is not fun. Everything hurts. I'm so stiff because I haven't been doing anything for a while. So I was listening to my body. So where it's like we're supposed to be doing 10 reps at 7, if I was done, I'm listening to my body, I'm done at 7. Mm-hmm. Or if I needed a little micro break, or if I needed to break and stop, I needed a rest day, whatever it was, I was listening to my body. First and foremost, you have to listen to your needs. And you don't want to compromise your needs by pushing yourself beyond that limit.
Yeah, because if your body's telling you to stop and you don't listen, your body's going to tell you to stop. Eventually.
Your body's going to make you stop.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not going to get a choice eventually.
Right. Like, you're going to pay for this in some way, whether it's after, whether it's during, like, your body tends to, the more you listen to it, it's like,
okay.
All right. You know what? I hear you. Uh-huh. I'm not going to make you yell. Like, there doesn't need to be yelling in our relationship. Like, just
don't shout at me. Just talk to me. Tell me what you need.
Right. Like, okay. All right. 7. 7 is better than 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is that, and your foundation function, one of the things that meets that need is the ability to move. If you push yourself to the point where you can't move anymore, you're going to compromise your needs.
I've never done that before.
We've all done that before.
Your ankle is broken. Stop going hiking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Off she goes with the pop screen.
Yeah. That was well before I got into this.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I make some choices that sometimes I have to think about my choices afterwards. But for the most part, like, I don't even consider that anymore. Like,
yeah,
I'm injured. Okay, looks like me and the couch are bonding for a couple of days. And then in a couple of days, if I'm feeling better, I'm back at it. But my whole, like, throughout life, I would just push. I mean, let's see how far I can get with this. And then my body would stop me more. And I'm like, all right, well, let's see how far I can push myself now. Like,
right. Absolutely. I mean, and look at the last few months. It's a great example of this. I am not good at doing nothing. I'm just generally, are you throwing coffee all over yourself?
I missed my mouth a little bit. I probably could have been really nonchalant and, like, not brought attention to it, but I'm like,
it is what it is. I've totally forgotten what I was saying now. What were you saying before that? Oh, about pushing through.
Yeah.
I still don't know what I was saying. I was on a thread. It may come back. but I would have, and there have been so many times in my life where I've pushed through and I continue to push, whether that's from an energy.
You don't like doing you don't like not doing anything.
Oh, thank you. Check us out.
Yeah. It's that new coffee mug.
Team TUN. That little boost of coffee made all the difference. Yeah.
I think at the bottom we should put like a little sticker. Remember what you were saying.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's going to help. But yeah, I'm not someone who enjoys doing nothing. That's just not my thing. But I knew I needed to listen to my body and I needed to rest. And that meant not working. I didn't have the brain power because of being sick to do the things I wanted to do for work and for the business. Definitely didn't have the ability to record. I mean, I've coughed a few times on here. I mean, it wouldn't have happened. It just was not a good idea. Even the exercise that I like to do, like yoga and stretching, and like I would do like a little bit of stretching. I'd move my body enough so that I was not getting completely stiff, but I didn't have the capacity to do. But I had to listen to my body. So first things first. It's as with everything with universal needs. Listen to yourself first and foremost. Listen to yourself beyond everybody, including Serena, including myself. You have the, you know yourself best. You know your needs best. And your wisdom is the most important one to follow. So the first thing is you got to listen to your body. You got to do things in alignment with that. Then once you are in alignment with your body, how we relate to the things that we want to do that are going to meet our needs, the language we use around it can make a complete difference to how they feel. That like I do it in my head, like I'm watching the videos and I'm doing the reps, I'm doing my little arabesques or attitudes or what have you. And in my head, I'm like, I get to do 2 more. I get to do 1 more because it changes how it feels. And the funny thing is that I wouldn't say that I've ever really enjoyed exercising where it's like I'm exercising to exercise or I'm exercising to strengthen my body. That's not something that's been an experience until last week. The first 5 days or so were tough. I'm not going to lie. But I then hit that. I had a breakthrough day where I'm like, I'm actually enjoying doing this. And I've picked something that speaks to me. It speaks to my little dancer soul. And I'm doing something that is in alignment with that. But it is very much about trying to strengthen my body and I have something in mind that I want to do. And that's the thing I have. Every time I think about, I get to do 2 more. I get to do 5 more. I get to do 5 more, and that gets me closer to getting back on the aerial hoop. I get to do 2 more. It gets me closer to being back on. Like, I remind myself, why am I doing this? What is the outcome that I'm looking for? And then I think about, I'm getting to do this stuff because it gets me a couple more steps or a couple more reps closer to actually being able to achieve that outcome. Mm-hmm. So that's the first one. Like, and different situations, there's not always going to be a get to. I mean, okay, I'll give you a different example. I'm never going to say I get to do my accounts ever. Like, and if you've listened to this podcast, you know me and numbers and finance and accounts. We're not really friends. We respect each other. We have a polite discourse when we need to, but
accounts gets a lot of rain checks.
We're not really in the space to do it today, are we? Let's put it. However, so I know in order to continue to do what we do, we have to do that as part of that process. But when I think about I have to do accounts, that's an entire different. But if I want to shift how that feels, I'm choosing to do accounts. Mm-hmm. I'm choosing to do it, something I don't particularly enjoy, because by choosing to do that, I get to continue to do the thing that I really want to do, which is this, among other things that we do as part of the business. It's not just the podcasting, although it is a lot of fun doing this. Mm-hmm. But then the other one is to remind yourself of the things that you might want to do. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I want to do this. And again, it might be I want to do this because I want the outcome that's on the other side of it. But those tend to be, in my experience, 3 good alternatives. If you have this have to, need to, should language going on in your mind, is to check in. What would feel good for me to shift this to? And the truth of the matter is, it can be both. We're not suggesting that you do this to delude yourself. It's like, no, yeah, you need to eat to stay alive. Mm-hmm. And you're choosing to eat to stay alive. Both can be true. and which one is the one that's going to help you to feel good as you are making these choices to meet your needs. Chances are it's going to feel better to be like, I'm choosing to eat this nutritious meal. Nutritious meals are just on my brain right now because I spent the entire day yesterday batch cooking up a whole bunch of food so that I can make meeting my needs in like eating nutritional food super easy going forward. I like low effort dinner, and I've got an entire fridge full of low effort dinner. I probably have a good month to 6 weeks worth, I would imagine, of food in there.
It's a lot of food.
It's a lot of food.
I think I have a good example that's not nutrition based.
Yay!
As I was transitioning out of my last position, there was a point
work position.
Yeah. There was a point where it was sometimes difficult to get myself in the space to want to go to work. And want was never really a word that was in the vocabulary towards the end, just because there was so much going on. Like, it wouldn't been in alignment to be like, I get to go to work today. I want to go to work today. Like, it was, I have to, I need to, I should. But like, because those feelings were there. And it was those things. And I'm choosing to go in today because if I go in, I can accomplish this, this, and this. I'm choosing to go in because I know my presence is going to be, important for this. I'm choosing to go in because I need to tie bows on things before I leave. Like, and I'm
choosing to go in because I get a paycheck at the end of it. Like, not even like
the simplicity of that.
Like we can take it out of the emotional side of things because a lot of it, I can imagine someone going, yeah, none of that applies to my work. I'm choosing to go to work because of the paycheck that allows me to do the other things I want to do in my life, or allows me to feed myself, allows me to keep a roof over my head. Those, like, the choice is still relevant when we're talking about those kind of things as well. Sorry, I kind of jumped in.
Yeah, no, but that was like, you can choose anything. And like I said, I think that was the hardest thing for me, is that first, the have, need, should can be present, can be true simultaneously with all of it, but also that once you enact that personal power aspect and you're giving yourself more choices, even if they are kind of crappy choices, it's like, oh, I do get to choose, and I get to choose this, and I get to choose this, and I get to choose this, and I get to choose whether I set my boundary, and then I set my boundary, and then I get to choose whether, like, it's kind of it's a great snowball effect of personal power. And then that starts like kind of pinging like the other things, and it's like, and this, and this, and this, and this, and you get that ding, ding, ding factor without even realizing it. You look back and you're like, oh, well, I've changed that language, and now I'm changing my mindset, and now I'm changing my actions, and it's, symbiotic with each other. And like,
so that's a nice little ripple effect through your life. And the good thing, Nunu's coming to hang out with me. Okay. They want to sit on my lap. It's fine. Because every time Mr. Nichols is like passed out. If you're on the video, this is kind of funny right now.
I feel you, bro.
Unity's like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, who have you left me with? Anyway.
You think after what she saw at that bar, she's questioning anything.
That's true. I've totally forgotten what I was saying again. Oh, you can tell it's been a minute since we've done this, and you can tell we're not quite back up to 100%.
Which is why we're not delivering the episodes that are coming.
Oh, yes, that's a good point. We didn't mention that. Yeah. Like we did promise that this episode would be the shapes episodes, but that we want to be on point and be able to give you the best of us, and we knew that we were not at the time. So it is coming. We've just pushed it so we can still give you some podcast content between now and then. Anyway, remember what I was saying, look at me, is that this can be really helpful if you're dealing with if you're dealing with a challenge with another person where their behavior is not being not in alignment with what you want to deal with. You can be like, oh, I have to deal with this person. No, you can choose to deal with this person because X, Y, and Z, because maybe they're in a spot right now, and eventually that you want to still have a good relationship with them. So you're choosing how you deal with them in order that you can maintain things in the interim. Maybe you're choosing to because of you want to maintain other relationships and those. So there's lots of ways that this comes in that can be really helpful. It can be helpful at work, like those moments where it's like, okay, I have to do this. Actually, no, I'm choosing to do this because this is part of this role. Or I so many people, I've had clients where it's like, I'm choosing to do this at work because doing this makes my life easier than dealing with the bullshit that I would have to deal with if I tried to get somebody else to do it. And I'm going to take me 5 minutes to do this. I make a lot of those
choices lately.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm going to choose to do this because the negative impact to my needs of doing the thing is significantly better than the negative impact to my needs of trying to get somebody else to do the thing. So like it can happen in work, it can happen in our personal relationships, it can happen in our intimate relationships, it can happen in our friendships, it can happen even with our personal things, the things that we're just wanting to do for ourselves. When it comes to the working out thing or the food thing, that's not for anybody else other than me. And it changes how I feel about it. And what it does is it makes it feel easier to do the things that are meeting our needs. And anything we can do, I mean, there's a reason that the podcast is called Boss Shit, it really is that simple, because we want to make it simple. We want to make it easy as possible. Might not always be easy, but we want to make it as easy as possible. And these shifts in language, and I mean, I think that we've got another language episode like queued up to do. There are different other language. You heard us with one of them today, where that shift between but and. Like if you talk about like the word but negates everything that comes before it. And so sometimes the energy around, like it doesn't feel good when somebody goes, da 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 da, but, da 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 da. Wherever you go,
I hear what you're saying.
Yes, but. Yeah. All of a sudden, well, it doesn't feel like you hear what I'm saying anymore. The reason for that, because that's just been negated.
That is a rebuttal.
Look at you.
I think I know somebody who'd like that joke. We'll talk later.
Okay. I'm sure I should be jumping on the thought train right now, and it's just not there. Contrarily, if you look at it where you say, I hear you and da 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 da, you're continuing to add in the piece that is relevant to you without negating the thing that's come before that. So there's a lot of these little language things that they're helpful to get us into a space where, and it's really important that we're not deluding ourselves. We're not using this language. Like if you want to go back and listen to our toxic positivity, is that a series or an episode? I think it was an episode. We're not saying to try and delude yourself that you want to do something that you don't want to do.
Right.
That is not
helpful.
sunshine
and rainbows.
Yay! Like
it doesn't have to be sunshine and rainbows for you to choose to walk into the rain.
Absolutely. It's like I've got a choice. I can choose to go out, which I really want to do, but to do that means I got to go out in the rain. That's the choice I'm making. So I think it's really important that we use this language mindfully, that we're not doing it in a way where it's like we're negating the truth and our authenticity and how we're approaching it. And it can, as I said, where is the both? Where is it the both and? Where is it that this is true? Yes, it's true that I have to eat in order to survive. And I'm choosing to eat this food because I want the benefit of eating this food over that food. And and this choice goes in both directions. Like so often we think about this thing where it's like only the things that we don't want to do, but we have to do because the things that make us feel good and blah, 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 blah. Same thing can happen around in the opposite direction. I'm like, I don't know why I'm big on food today. I think just my brain is on food from all the cooking I did yesterday. But it's like, there are times I'm like, yeah, I'm going to choose to eat a chocolate cake. Don't have to, don't need to, shouldn't. But there are times where there's an element of like, the interesting thing about this is that this can happen like around this kind of treat mentality where it's like, oh, I'm celebrating, therefore I should drink alcohol, or I'm celebrating, so I should eat the chocolate cake. Do I really want to eat the chocolate cake? No, I'm going to choose not to eat the chocolate cake. So this choice thing works in every which way. And it's about checking in with yourself and choosing what feels most in alignment for you. And what sometimes feels in alignment isn't the thing that's the most fun. Sometimes what the right choice for you in that moment is the choice that's going to meet my need better. And if I focus on the fact that it's my choice to do that rather than I should to or I have to, it totally changes the energy around it.
I also think like choice in itself, there's, we've talked about control before and how people need it, want it, have to have it, and it's not really a thing unless you're doing it for yourself. But like this kind of gives
I would
us
say the have to have it. It's an illusion, so that's not true actually. But yeah, I see where you're going.
As is control in most
belief
things.
that they have to have it.
The belief, yes, the belief that they have to have it. This kind of gives you. I want to choose my words wisely, and I'm probably not going to. So feel free to jump in and correct what I'm saying. But like, tweak what I'm saying. The choice does give you some sense. It is a control in your life. Like you are controlling what you're choosing to do.
Well, actually, I think if you go into the, I think we've done an episode on control, and that's exactly what we do. Is it's not about control because you can't control anything, but what you want to do is you want to be having choice, and choice is the antidote to control.
And it also makes, I feel like the more I put things into choice, like I'm choosing to do this, I'm choosing to do that in everything in life. Like I'm constantly giving myself choices, like just because I like enacting that personal power. And that's an easy, usually green spectrum way of meeting my needs. Usually it's a good thing for me. But that I choose to makes things very conscious for me. And then I'm very aware of what I'm choosing in my life, what I'm bringing into my life, because I'm making these choices. And it's like this, not that, no, you stay over there. Yeah. Like, and I feel like I feel less snow globey a lot when I'm enacting that choice, because it's like, no, I know what this is. It's that snowflake or that snow. Right, you get out of here. Like,
right. And in order for that to be true, you have to really be choosing. And what I will say is that this is one of those like it's really important to make sure you're actually doing this, and this is not just a buzzword that you're engaging with. So for example, like I've been in shitty relationships, like, no, I'm choosing this. No, I'm not really choosing this. I'm actually compromising my needs, and I'm using the language of I'm choosing this so I can feel better about it. So it's really important that when we are doing it, that we are doing this in the context of needs, that we are choosing to do something because it meets our needs to do something. Not that we're just choosing something to feel better about the fact that we're doing something that doesn't meet our needs or compromises our needs in some way.
It almost seems like for somebody who's just starting to kind of change this language, doing the I choose to, and then adding because of this, because it meets my needs in this way. And that kind of gets you into why. What's your why? And it gets you into thinking that way and being like, every time you're making a choice, it's not a conscious choice, like Claire said, to kind of subscribe to the buzzword, like, oh yeah, I'm choosing this, and then there's no thought.
I want to do this. Yeah, I don't actually want to. I'm not really choosing this. I'm just doing. I'm
saying it because that's what's going to make me feel better. Like,
exactly.
Say it and mean it, because if you're following up with, I'm choosing to do this because it means that I'll get more rest and that's going to meet my foundation function need. That is a reason for that choice. Right. And then it kind of trains your brain, like, all right, why am I saying I'm choosing to do this? Because I'm actually choosing to do it.
And the good thing is that, I mean, and I know that we haven't shared all the universal needs with you yet, but there is news coming on that front. We will be at some point in the hopefully not so distant future. We have some stuff to do behind the scenes first in order for that to happen, but it is coming. Like, we are working on that. So this is not we're never going to share this. It's going to be a little while.
We want to do it right.
Yeah, exactly. But and we want to make sure you have access to the information that makes sharing about that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and listen to the Should We Tell You the 12 Universal Needs thing. There's a reason that we don't go the 12 Universal Needs are blah, 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 right here on the podcast. We will do at some point, because at that point there'll be more information accessible to you in order for that information to be helpful. What I will say though is, when you are able to put a needs lens on these conversations, it does make a huge difference, because when you get into that choose to, you have to kind of check in with your needs. Like, why am I choosing this? Which needs is it meeting? And actually, is that the best way of me meeting my needs? Sometimes maybe there's a better way of meeting that same needs. You go into the needs formula episode, and you can understand, hold on a second, I'm choosing to do this to meet my needs. I mean, this is a great example example that we actually talk about in the program, and I'm sure I've spoken about on here before, of the businessman and the actress who were clients of mine, where he was choosing to stay up to watch TV with her, even though it was meeting like two needs, like 5%, maybe not even that, 2%, and it was compromising 10 of his 12 universal needs. a significant amount. Like technically he was choosing to do that because that was a choice he was making. But the second you put the needs context on it, you put that needs lens on it, and he was like, oh, well, now I can see what that choice actually is. And then I can make a better choice. And maybe there's a different choice I want to make. And that's when the spaghetti on the wall comes out, where it's like, okay, what are my options? Let's throw some more spaghetti on the wall. Let's see what the options are. And this is where the different things that we talk about kind of come together and start working in concert. Like we talk about choice. Choice is really important. Well, choice is really only helpful if you have options to choose from. So the first step then is like, okay, what are my options? Where's that spaghetti? Let's find the wall. Okay, now I can see all my options. Okay, I'm going to choose this one because this meets my needs better. And it meets this, and this need, or it doesn't meet. Once you get that clarity and once you get that information, it makes making these choices much easier. But it also makes those difficult choices make sense. Where it's like, I don't really want to do this, but I'm choosing to do this because I can see the needs it's meeting by doing that. And actually I do want to do the things that are meeting my needs. And therefore I'm going to choose to do this because I want my needs to be met. Like there's lots of these different pieces of the puzzle, and we kind of shared little bits of them on each of the episodes. But once you start to kind of put the whole thing together, that's when you see the picture and it's like, well, shit. It really is that simple. And the thing is, there's lots of pieces, but the actual picture is really simple when you see it, see the final thing. Anything else you want to add to this before we finish up?
I think I'm good.
I think I'm good too. So if there is something that you are struggling with, we're at the beginning of the new year now. If you're, we did say in the last episode in the podcast pause, if there's something that you're missing, then please do reach out to us and let us know. Because we are at the point where we're starting to record new episodes now. So this is the perfect time to get a request in. If you have made a request and we haven't done it yet, there is a good reason why we haven't done it yet. I know that there's episode requests we've had about parenting, like it's in the pipeline, we are working on it, and so don't think that we've ignored requests or we've forgotten. We haven't. They're still there and we're still kind of carrying them forward. So yeah, if there's anything you want to hear about that you think is going to be really helpful for you right now, please get in touch. Send us a DM, get in touch via our website, theuniversalneeds.com, and just let us know what you want to hear about on our podcast, because we want to record the stuff that's most helpful to you. We are going to be back really soon because we are back into recording mode. Yes. It's been stressful not recording because we end up with this buffer and the buffer gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yes, we have we can take a little bit of a breather on the recording. We're going to do it once a week and life.
Yes, exactly. At some point, I hope we will actually be able to do that. I can't. I've lost count the amount of times I said that on this episode. But we will be back very soon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Remember, between now and next time, to stay safe, to take care of your needs, and we're sending you lots of love. Bye.
Bye, friends.
That's it for today.
If you like what you heard
and would like to see some of Serena's awesome facial expressions,
check out the video podcast on YouTube.
And remember, if you find yourself using the language of have to, need to, or should, check in with yourself and see if it's possible for you to authentically shift that, or recognize that it's also something that you get to, want to, or choose to do.
Well, shit. It really is that simple.